Thanks for meeting with me. I'm really
Absolutely.
excited. I actually just spent some time with Calty, the
Oh,
number one
nice.
pick overall a few weeks ago, and it was really fun. She's going to be great in the league.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what she can do. She's an aggressive player, so I'm excited to play against her.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, Taylor, we're really excited to have you featured on our Women Wednesday. This is coming out the week that your season drops, which is really,
Awesome.
really exciting. Exciting. You guys are headed into the third year, and your history with the PWHL is etched in the record books, history books, for so many reasons. But first of all, you were the number one pick overall in the first year of the PWHL. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you take us back to that day?
Yeah, that feels like ages ago, for all the things that have happened in between now and then. But I remember being in Toronto, been to that city a bunch of times before that, but just kind of exploring a new part of the city. My parents were there. It was awesome that I could have both of them there for me and them to support me in that process, since they've supported me since I was very young, in hockey. And that day kind of consisted of my mom and I, we walked and got a donut at Tim Hortons. I remember there was a camera crew following us there, but we usually get in our walks every morning if I'm ever with her. And after that, just kind of had a chill afternoon, had some cameras and some stuff, and then ended up getting in my outfit, getting ready. And then it was history. I guess I got to the event and walked down the red carpet, got to sign a few things, and was very nervous, but more so just was excited for the process and excited to see where I was going to end up. And then Billie Jean King called my name first overall, and now we're here.
Oh, what a legend, Billie Jean King, and also pretty legendary to start your day at Timmy's. Like,
Yeah.
what an iconic move. Do you have a favorite Timmy's donut that you can share with us?
I am not super familiar with all of their donuts, but my best friend and I, when we're in Canada, will get the little, what are the munchkins? Are
Yeah,
they called munchkins?
yeah, the
We
Tim
get the birthday cake and then the sour cream flavor, which like is really good too.
so good. I know I married a Canadian, and so like I feel like I've been indoctrinated to the Tim
Mhm.
Hortons whole narrative. Okay, so fun. What a moment. But then that was not the only win that you had in the league. You've had so many wins since then, back-to-back champions. And here we are heading into your third season. Are we going through for a three-peat? Is that too forward to ask? I just have to ask.
100%. Obviously you want to win every year. I think after the first one, you want it again, and now after the second one, you want it even more because I think it's hard to say it. Anyone can say this. I think any league nowadays, no one can really say it is they are the only ones to have won it. And I think that we take that with great pride in Minnesota and on the Frost. Like no other team knows what it feels like to win that cup, and we've done it twice now.
Yeah.
I would say, bearing the fact that I don't think a lot of people believed in what we were doing or if our team was going to be the best. A lot of people said we sneaked into playoffs, squeaked in there.
Yeah.
But regardless of if you're first or fourth, you're still going to compete to get to that cup. And obviously, being a part of a three-peat would be pretty crazy, but I would be over the moon if that were to have happened.
Amazing. So Minnesota, I feel like, has become this hotbed for women's sports. I'd love to hear from your perspective. You've now been there for two seasons, how the city has responded to you, to the team, to the championship, and to women's sports in general.
Yeah, Minnesota is my home. It's, where I grew up and where I plan to raise my future kids and be here. This is a state I don't think many people can fully appreciate until you've been through the winters. But even if people were to ask me about that, I would still say I would still want to be here. But the state of Minnesota not only has supported me throughout my career, whether that be youth, high school, college, or pro, just kind of taking me as who I am and understanding that I'm, I don't come from a hockey background. I have a little bit of a different story, but taking me and running with it. Like I have so many amazing fans that not only support me, but back to the Frost, I think like we have a very interesting fan base and I love the support and the love we get from them. And but they're very like they like to know what's going on. They want to know what we're doing. They want to know like why so and so isn't scoring and all that. So I think Minnesota fans like they understand hockey. We're the state of hockey for a reason.
Yeah.
They're not going to be yelling in the stands like shoot the puck, shoot the puck. Like rarely are you going to find that in a Minnesota game. So I love them. I think that they've taken us under their wing, and a lot of people say like we haven't won a championship around here in a long time, whether that be male or female sports. And I like to remind them the Lynx have.
Yes.
I'm a big Lynx fan. Women's sports in general is amazing. any women's sport that I can get to in the state of Minnesota, I tend to get to very often. So I think the Lynx are also another great like example. A lot of our fan bases, both of them, we collab on a few different things, and just having that fan base to not only support them but us is pretty amazing. Because when me and my teammates we go to Lynx games, we get recognized by a lot of our fans because it seems to be a shared experience.
That's so fun. And that's why women's sports are so cool. I think this is a really good pivot into your story and your background. And you said you didn't have a traditional hockey background. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I grew up, my parents both played basketball in college, and that's how they met. And that's kind of what we were as kids, me and my two brothers, who are both younger than me, were kind of like bred into. We did a lot of other competitive stuff, tractor pulling, not many people know what that is. Like that kind of started our competitive edge. And then, we had three hoops in my driveway, and before you went in for dinner, you would shoot your 15, 20, 30 free throws in a row and make them, and then you'd be able to go in and eat dinner. But I grew up in a basketball household. I have two brothers that currently play college ball. One at Iowa State and one at Winona State. Very proud of them. And anytime I can go see them, I absolutely do. I think being as independent as I am kind of pushed me to strive for my own path, try to do something different. And like I said, very independent. And when hockey came around, I had a friend of mine whose dad played juniors in high school and college and kind of just continued on into that realm and started a co-ed league in Lake City. We don't have an indoor rink. We don't have a team. Even to this day, nothing is legit. But he just started a co-ed little league on Wednesdays, and we would play the neighboring town, Wabasha, on Sundays. And that was kind of how I started. And it was realistically, you would skate like 10 times maybe in the winter, like if it was nice out, and if it was raining or snowing, it wasn't really an option. I would get out there a few extra times, but I remember my mom saying I was horrible, as one would be, after not knowing what hockey was or even knowing it was a realistic sport at that point. And then ended up, moving my way up, and a parent of a neighboring town kind of asked my parents and was like, are you going to sign her up for something more legit than this? Like she should probably be somewhere that's a little bit more structured and made for her. And I ended up going to a neighboring town and continuing to live at home, obviously, and being with my family, but driving 30 minutes to go to practice and playing with a legit U10, U12, and then varsity team in Red Wing, Minnesota.
Wow. Okay. So Minnesota really is where it all happened and where
Mhm.
it's continuing, and
Mhm.
college as well. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. University of Minnesota.
Okay. So did you want to go to the Frost? Was that kind of like in the back of your mind, like I want to stay in this state that I love so much?
100%. I tried to make that known. Obviously, you kind of have to hide it a little bit when you don't know the draft order and where you're going. I did know that I was going to be, passionate and excited to be wherever I was going to be.
Yeah.
But when I realized Minnesota had the number one pick, and I had done so much work to get to that point, and knew that I was potentially able to be that pick, and I was confident in that. I was super excited, and obviously, when I heard my name called, that was like one of the best days of my life. And my fiance and I live in Minnesota. We live in a place that I love. I love the state of Minnesota. It's supported me for a very long time. Both him and my family, his family and my family are very supportive of both of our careers. And anything that I can say, and the biggest thing for me is the fact that my family gets to watch me every weekend, every week, and it's not hard for them to get there. I have grandparents that have loved being able to watch me over the years and continue to be able to do that every day. So it's definitely an honor, and Minnesota is definitely my home and my place.
I love that so much. All right. You've had so many big moments, like I mentioned. Do you have one that rings truest as like the biggest pinch me moment of your career?
I would definitely say the first home game of my pro career, which was at Xcel Energy Center, now Grand Casino Arena. And I think there was like 16,000 people there. And I kind of had known like it was over 10,000. Our tickets person was like, yeah, guys, get ready. Like it's going to be a really big game and really fun for you guys. And yeah, for me, like I remember getting on skating from the locker room onto the ice and reading all the little kids' signs, but just being absolutely like engulfed in how crazy it was to be a part of this. And I think the most important part is like it wasn't even a dream of mine because I couldn't have dreamt it. It wasn't a possibility. It wasn't an outcome that could have happened from anything. And that's why it's so important to me, because I got to live out a dream that I didn't know that I had. And those are sometimes the most important, because those have come over the time of when you were born and when you've been growing up. And obviously I give full props to all the women in our league that have continued to press forward and to push for a better tomorrow. And I definitely am someone that has been able to kind of like sit in that glory that they've kind of helped create.
Yeah. Well, I think most notable is the fact that when you and I were young girls, like being able to dream of being a hockey player as a woman, a professional hockey player was not an
Right.
option, right?
No.
So now looking back, as a young girl, like who didn't know you had this dream, what did young Taylor think she was gonna do?
I was probably convinced I was going to go play, honestly, probably for the NBA because that's what we watched on TV,
Yeah.
and be Steph Curry. Like, I don't know. I had big dreams. I was a very confident kid. I really like to bake. And honestly, in high school, I was really passionate about being a physical therapist. Like, that was something that I really wanted to do. Hockey obviously has led me into a different path, but I still am very like, I would say me and my athletic trainer are very close, not only because she helps me all the time,
Yeah.
but like just seeing the background of like how the body moves and everything. Like I've just been passionate about it. And I think as a kid that could have led me there. I wanted to be a baker. I wanted to own a bakery. I had lots of different dreams.
Yeah.
So picking one, I would definitely say like I probably would have wanted to play college basketball and play in a pro league somewhere, whether that be overseas or in the WNBA, but had lots of dreams, like I mentioned.
Of course. Well, do you have any of them that are still like tucked away and possibly come out after retirement?
I don't know. Like I like to coach, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I will find myself in a large coaching role. I got my master's in sports management. I think managing a team would be really cool, like general manager, any of that stuff would be awesome. But I also I love to bake. It's a very big passion of mine, and I love baking for other people, not just for myself. In high school, I started doing this. I actually forgot about this until a friend brought it up the other day. But for every away game we had in high school, I would bake something the night before. And my mom would be so mad because she'd be like, Taylor, you have homework. You got to go to bed. Like, and I'm baking brownies at 11:30 at night, just like whipping it up. But I had to do it because I loved my teammates. And it just ended up being a superstition that I couldn't let go. But yeah, I think being a baker would be really cool. Not to say that's going to be my future, but it's always good to have a dream that you're trying to catch at one point.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. You've had a lot of really, really successful moments, but I'm sure you've had your moments of like receiving a no or receiving rejection. What's the best no you think you've ever received looking back?
That's honestly a great way to put it. Like the best no I've ever received is trying out for the last Olympics in 2022 and not making it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want that to end up being my story specifically, but I think it's important for kids and girls in Minnesota specifically to see like as much as they think my life's perfect and I get everything and I win everything and I do all this, like it's really important to know that like there was a time where someone didn't want me and that I wasn't the right fit for a team and I wasn't good enough. Like, but those moments are the reason why you continue playing. Like
Totally.
even to this day, obviously it's an Olympic year and I'm competing to be on that team again.
Yeah.
Um, After last time, it just helped me to understand what I need to do, how I need to change my mentality, how I need to be a better teammate, I need to be a better person, I need to understand the mental side of things and taking care of my body. There's just so many things that I've learned from the past, but definitely being told that I wasn't going to be on that Olympic team in 2022 was definitely hard. But I ended up turning it around and having a great college season that year, and another year with my best friends in college. Like
Yeah.
that no ended up turning into a good yes for me.
Amazing. Okay, so sights set on Milan for sure, though, 2026. I was very surprised to find out you guys don't really know the final roster until right
No,
before. Is that right?
December. Yeah.
That's crazy. So explain to me this process, like in trying out and like when you find out. That's crazy.
Yeah, we since we went so far in playoffs, I don't think we got done until the beginning of June. So I took a few weeks off in June and then July came around and then all of a sudden August was there and we have a one camp every month, beginning of the month. And in
Okay.
August we went to New York for 2 weeks. Then the next month we went to Michigan. And then last month we just went to Blaine, which was literally last week. And then next month we play in a rivalry series game versus Canada. Two of them, I think one in Ohio, one in Buffalo, New York. And then December we do the same thing, and then right after that they'll probably make the team make some cuts. But it's a really cool process. If you don't look at it the right way, you can see it as draining, and it drags on a little bit longer than some people think. But if you look at it with like the right mindset and see like you get this many opportunities to play with the USA jersey and the emblem on your chest, like it's an honor and it's obviously a privilege to be playing up and against the best in the world, and that's what you get to do when you play with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say there's a Canada's the number one rival when you were.
Yes,
Okay,
no doubt. No
love it.
doubt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Little pivot here. Can you tell us a woman who inspires you?
I could probably easily say like I love the women's gymnastics team for the US, like Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, like that group. I could say Serena Williams, but like I wouldn't be who I am without my mom.
Mm,
She is such a hard worker and just like does things in a way that I think I learned and kind of like took as my own.
yeah.
She is definitely my rock. She helps me with anything I need, whether that be addressing an envelope, wedding planning, calling her after a game because this happened and I need to talk about it. Like, I think she just inspires me in the fact that like she doesn't freak out. She is very calm demeanor, but also gets things done. And she's she's kick ass. She's a girl boss, and
Love it.
like she's just taught me so many things, and she's definitely the person that I go to if I need advice, and also someone to calm me down if I get a hot head because I'm a little bit more hot headed than her, and she knows the way to kind of just like draw me in and be like, okay, let's pivot to this and think about this way. Like, how would you feel if this happens? So
Yeah.
I would definitely say my mom.
Oh, I love that. I love that answer. That's always like my favorite answer.
Yeah.
I have two littles and I'm like, oh, I hope they say that answer
Oh,
first.
cute.
Um, you gave me the perfect segue because you said wedding planning, and I want to
Yes.
know more. I mean, I can't imagine being engaged, trying out for the Olympics, and entering the third season of your hockey career. Like, how that's a lot. What's going on?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot of stress, but like I always say, like this might be the biggest year of my life, whether it comes to like Olympic stuff, PW stuff, wedding planning. I have all my hockey gear in this room, which is my kitchen slash half living room. My dining room table has all my wedding stuff on it, and then I have some planning stuff in the office. So
Right.
lots going on. It's like a jumbled brain type of deal, but I'm very type A. I use my iPad to keep things straight and write down some notes. But I have great people in my life, like my mom and my Sumi mother-in-law. Like she's fantastic as well. And anytime I have a question, I'm always asking them. I think I have 5 text messages into my mom so far today, and she has answered all of them. So it's great, but it's a lot of stress. But hopefully you only do it once. So, I mean,
Totally. Amazing.
one would hope. Yeah.
Can you give us a little peek into your relationship and the
Yeah.
wedding coming up?
Yeah. So, my fiance's name is Parker Fox. He used to play basketball at the University of Minnesota. He played 4 years at Northern State. Before that, he came to the University of Minnesota, ended up tearing his right ACL. That is right when I met him. He came back from that 2 weeks later, tore his left ACL. We were definitely good friends during that. And then after the second ACL, he kind of came to terms with like basketball might not be what I can do for the rest of my life. And I've said it to him, like, and he'll probably say it too, as much as it's like the no. He got that no, and like more so understanding what he's so passionate about now is broadcasting and doing all that kind of stuff. So really proud of him. And we ended up meeting at the University of Minnesota. Go Gophs. Ended up living right across the street from each other. Super weird occurrence, but we've been dating. Now we're engaged, but before that we were dating for about 2.5 years and knew each other for like 5. So we've known each other for a long time, and we live together in a house now. And but he's my best buddy. Like I feel like starting a relationship as best friends was probably one of the best things we could do, just because you understand each other. We're both very good athletes. No hockey, basketball talk at the table. We've come to terms with that. But if you have to speak on something, you sometimes just have to hold the wooden spoon, let her rip, put it down, and call it a night.
Love it. And when do you guys have a date?
Yes, in August next year. So we'll have a lot of stuff going on, and then summer of training and different things, and then there it is.
That's super exciting. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna end with some rapid fire questions if that's
Awesome.
okay with you. Okay.
Absolutely.
What's the last thing you bought that made you instantly happy?
I bought some I think it was American Eagle pajamas.
Ooh,
I'm a pajama person.
that's
If you're comfy before you go to bed, you're gonna sleep better. And one of them has like croissants on it, and it's blue with croissants, and they're like so cute and fuzzy and comfy. So that's probably the last thing I bought. But I'm an avid online shopper or shopper in general.
love. It sounds
Yeah.
like the more I talk to you, the more you belong in Milan, is all I'm gonna
Shoot, I hope so.
say. What's a must-have in your purse or bag?
I actually pulled this out because I have 15,000 makeup products in here or lip products. But my number one is the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in raspberry jelly.
There it is. Love, love
But I
Rose.
do have about 57 other Summer Fridays in here as well. But
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
all about the
Love
lips.
a gloss.
I know. You've always got to have some. You can't have dry lips.
I totally
It's bad.
agree. Your most used emoji?
I like the heart with the hands like this.
Cute.
It's just easy. I mean, it shows your love and it's always in my top one. It's always the top left because that's the one that I go for all the time.
I love that. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Um, I've thought about this one. I love anything like R&B, hip hop, women specifically, but I think Keep Watching, it's from the F1 movie. It's Tate McRae's song, and I
Yeah.
just think like I like the vibe of it, and it's like just keep watching, like things are gonna get so much better. Like you can't understand until you're there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I interpret it, but that's kind of and I jam to it, so like it's a good pregame song for me too.
I love that. Okay. Dream sporting event outside of hockey.
I would say I would love to go to a Super Bowl.
Yes,
Hope that the Vikings would be there, but
of
you
course.
can't ask too many things. And then the Kentucky Derby. I love like horse racing and all that. We have a small place in Minnesota that does it, and it's always fun. And I love their fun outfits.
Okay. Follow-up question. Who would you choose as the halftime performer if you were going to the Super Bowl?
Would have to go in between. All my friends are going to say, like, we knew you were going to answer it this way, but Tate McRae mixed with Kaylani. Not a lot of people know Kaylani, but I got to go backstage and meet her last year with some of my friends, and we were like over the moon. She's one of my faves.
Amazing. Dream dinner guest.
Oh boy. I want to say Tate McRae, but I'm really hoping I meet her one day.
Yeah.
So other than that, like I mean Serena Williams, I've watched her since I was very young. She would be awesome.
So
And
cool.
like I want to say like Michael Phelps, but I don't know why. Like he was the second person to pop in my brain.
I feel like that is allowed. You can have three guests.
Right. Okay.
Tate, Serena, Michael Phelps.
Yes.
Love. If your current season of life were a movie, what would the title be?
Probably just like busy gal. Like there's a lot going on over here and there's a lot going on in my head.
Yeah.
But as long as I can keep it straight. So like I think just busy gal.
Yeah, I
Keep
love it.
watching, or maybe just keep watching. That's
I
the name of the
like
song.
that. Just keep watching. Okay, Taylor,
Yeah.
we're going to keep watching you. We're excited for you with everything you have coming up. And thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You have a good night too.
Bye.